What's going on, guys? It's Christopher Toro, and welcome to Glorified Games, the place that we talk about games and sometimes the Game Awards. So I was going to make a video today, and then I realized that the Game Awards were showing. And usually I actively avoid them because the cringe and all that, but I heard there was going to be some announcements like The Legend of Zelda expansion and something from Bandai Namco, potentially. But after watching 2 to 3 hours of the Game Awards, there were a ton of announcements. I've never seen a Game Awards so modern. Is it possible that the Game Awards is actually good now? Last I saw of it, they had a bunch of unnecessary guests, cheap artists, and bland performances, but the performances in this Game Awards were mind-blowing. They had an orchestra covering a lot of different games' themes. It supposedly took place in the Microsoft Theater, and boy, do I have to thank Microsoft for that. It was very professional, and there were announcements for new games every 20 minutes. It's as if we just saw E3 2018 already. I've seen enough to get excited for next year. So firstly, like I was anticipating, they actually did show Soul Calibur 6. I wasn't that surprised, but it was great to see that. They showed Mitsurugi fighting with Sophidia, and it kind of gave me the feeling of Soul Calibur 2. And judging by the action, it just seems like it's a more evolved version of Soul Calibur 2. I can't wait to see how that turns out. But for a fighting game, there's not really a big reason to see the trailers. I'm probably gonna get it anyway, especially if it's on Steam. But if there was a storyline, that's when I would be interested in the trailers. And of course, the Game Awards is not about the trailers, even though that was a big part of it. There were a lot of great nominations and all different types of awards being handed out. Cuphead was doing very well. And let's never forget all of the microtransaction puns that were being told. And also that one guy who I swear was drunk. The way he was talking about EA and other publishers that have loot boxes and microtransactions was legendary. At first I thought he was just being a troll to Jeff Healy, but it's clear the guy had a passion, like a lot of us do. But one of the biggest announcements was firstly Bloodborne 2. I know it's Bloodborne 2. There's no way that it's not. All they showed was created by software. And then they showed some kind of rusty sword or bloody sword. If they're concealing it that much, you know they want your imagination to take over. There's no way that it's Dark Souls 4 because Dark Souls 3 is still kind of new. But besides that announcement, for the Nintendo Switch, Bayonetta 1 and 2 collection was announced, and I've been wanting that since the Nintendo Switch was announced. I just can't wait to get that in February, but to be honest, I thought it was going to be a closer release date, because usually when Nintendo lets you know stuff, it's kind of around the corner. But I guess since it was in the Game Awards, that was like an official announcement, so it's coming out February, even though that's only 2 months. That's a long time for someone who really likes the Bayonetta games. But not only that, officially for the Switch, Bayonetta 3 was announced after the 1 and 2 collection. But Bayonetta 3 is coming out. The storyline, from the small glimpses we saw, looks pretty cool. Looks very ominous. I actually thought they were going to announce Metal Gear Rising 2 when they mentioned Platinum Games, because they just mentioned Bayonetta, so I would think that they would move on to another IP. Now, surprisingly, even bigger than that was the Death Stranding trailer. I don't know what I saw, but everything in that looked super unique, dark, and actually kind of scary. That trailer actually reminded me a lot of Gantz and sort of their Oni demon / aliens that they have with random monstrous designs, and sometimes they're giant creatures, sometimes they're small creatures that could burrow into your skin. Not even Norman Reedus knew what he was looking at, but he did have a cool reference to Yang Ye when he said that he's gonna have to go to YouTube to see if somebody can analyze it for him. And the awards were actually very surprising too. Hellblade was getting a lot of attention, but it got almost every type of award, including the biggest surprise, having the best lead actor. And what's even crazier is that she's not even an actor, she's just a game designer. And I love how she just admits to it, like, I beat all of you celebrities and they had to pay how much for you guys? But I was already employed with them. She was just in the office and they were like, oh yeah, do you want to act? Sure. And she killed it. She beat the competition. I don't care who won the Game of the Year. That is the most impressive award that we've saw. And I'm telling you, I loved Ninja Theory since Heavenly Sword. And their base team has so much good talent in it, including actors that they probably didn't think could act. So they have it all. They have the team of developers and they have the actors. They could pretty much make all of their games in-house. And the theme that really reached out to me was that indie titles were actually getting a little more attention than the AAA titles. 2 years ago, I was reading an article on a magazine, yes, on a magazine made of paper, and someone from Epic Games, I think it was Epic Games, predicted that indie game companies were going to dominate and become the new norm, that AAA companies were going to fall or divide into smaller sectors. And that's completely true. Hideo Kojima, one of the biggest names in video games, created his own smaller team because his original publisher couldn't afford him. While you have games like Hellblade and PUBG taking over. Now, besides those, I was actually surprised that the Switch didn't get more announcements. Sure, it got the Legend of Zelda expansion pack, but I didn't see a lot of Switch titles besides that and Bayonetta. Maybe I missed something. My attention was divided. This Game Awards was actually impressive to me, and it was very modernized. They were advertising mid-show, they were talking about digital deals. Nothing felt out of place, and what made it even better was the YouTube live chat. I know last year and the year before that, it was something, but it wasn't as prominent as it was this year. Everything felt more up to date, and my goodness, did they have a lot of celebrities in there. I guess they were wondering, oh, who should we use? All of them. Now my question to you guys is the Game Awards saved? Is it not the cringeworthy fest that we all know it to be? And will you be looking forward to the Game Awards next year? Because I'm usually not the type of person to watch it. I just watch this one in a whim, but dang that I get lucky. And of course there was the ultimate GOTY award, and you can guess who won that. If you can't, The Legend of Zelda took the prize and beat everyone. And that was apparently Nintendo's first year that they've won a single Game of the Year award. I'm not sure if it's just a young show or Nintendo just didn't dish out a lot of good things in the past 2 or 3 years. Most likely the second one. But this year was very impressive. 2 Nintendo nominations, and they were big. Nintendo isn't playing this year. They're going as hard as I thought Sonic Forces was going to go. If Nintendo keeps this up, it's going to be a very interesting 2018. Because there are so many surprise announcements that could be coming, like they have been for the past 8 months. Anyway, I had a lot of fun watching that. I wish I could have watched it live, but I was too busy focusing on it, taking notes. But let me know what you guys think about the Game Awards. And tell me, should Sonic Forces have won the Game of the Year award? I mean, it should have at least won the Game Direction award. There's only one dominant direction you go in that game. What kind of award is that anyway? Game Direction award. Do they mean game pacing? I guess like the meaning of it? Anyway, Sonic should have definitely won that. Come on. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one guys. Later.
Hey, I'll play with you some...